Wait, this is the story of Zainab, a young woman who had long tried to forget her past. She thought it was behind her, buried in memories she no longer wanted to face. But her past never truly let her go. It quietly followed her, creeping into her present, disrupting her life in ways she never imagined. What she believed was a peaceful, happy life with her husband was about to be shaken by shadows of her history she thought were gone forever. Every secret, every forgotten memory, every lingering emotion was about to resurface, changing her world completely. Watch this story till the very end, because what happens to Zainab will leave you shocked, terrified, and breathless. Zainab is a beautiful and intelligent young woman who has recently moved into her in-laws' house after marriage. The household environment is peaceful and warm, with everyone treating each other with respect and affection. Zainab has started a new chapter of life with her husband, Fahad, and they are busy learning, understanding, and supporting each other. Every evening, Zainab sits with Fahad, sharing stories of the day, talking about joys and worries, creating intimate moments together. The other family members are kind and welcoming, making her feel like a part of the household. Zainab's personality is cheerful, soft-spoken, and compassionate, traits that naturally draw people to her. Initially, she enjoys her new environment and routine, though memories of her past occasionally linger in her mind. She tries to brush them aside, as her focus is on building a happy life with her husband. This introduction establishes Zainab's life, her surroundings, and relationships so that when the supernatural events occur, the contrast makes the horror more impactful. The narrative subtly hints at a calm, happy life, creating a baseline for suspense. It also portrays Zainab's personality depth and emotional state, allowing the audience to connect with her before the looming terror disrupts her world. By painting a serene domestic picture, the story sets the stage for unexpected fear and psychological tension in the chapters that follow. Zainab's daily life is full of small joys and routines that bring stability and comfort. She wakes up early, helps around the house, and ensures every corner is tidy and organized. Evenings are spent with Fahad, sharing dinner and conversations that strengthen their bond. They joke, exchange stories, and laugh together, creating a warm and loving atmosphere. Occasionally, Zainab thinks about old friends and moments from her past, but she quickly returns her focus to the happiness and love in her present life. The house itself seems normal and mundane. The lights, furniture, and movements of the household all appear ordinary. Small reminders of the past, like an old photograph or a forgotten message, flicker in her mind, but she dismisses them as inconsequential. This part of the story establishes the peaceful, predictable routine of Zainab's life, which later becomes a sharp contrast to the rising horror. Readers are drawn into her sense of normalcy, making the unexpected supernatural events more startling. By highlighting everyday interactions and domestic tranquility, the story provides a sense of realism. This section also foreshadows the intrusion of an external, unsettling force, setting up the tension and suspense necessary for the story's horror elements. One night, after dinner, Zainab and Fahad sit together in the living room, talking quietly. Suddenly, a faint rustling sound drifts from the corner of the room, hinting at someone else's presence. Zainab looks toward the darkened corner, but sees nothing. Fahad senses it too, a subtle yet chilling feeling that something is amiss. The air grows unnaturally cold, and the door slowly creaks as if closing on its own. Zainab's hands tremble, and her heartbeat quickens. They exchange nervous glances, both realizing that an unseen presence is nearby. Although Zainab tries to move toward the door or investigate, there seems to be nothing physically there. Flickering lights and shifting shadows add to the eerie atmosphere, making the room feel alive with an unseen force. This moment is the story's first hint of horror, where readers sense that something extraordinary and dangerous is approaching. The tension is quiet but palpable, blending fear with confusion. Both Zainab and Fahad question whether it is their imagination or something more sinister. This part introduces suspense gradually, preparing the audience for the larger supernatural elements that will emerge. By portraying subtle signs of a haunting, the story builds psychological tension while grounding it in a domestic setting. As these mysterious occurrences continue, Zainab and Fahad's fear intensifies. Zainab catches glimpses of hazy shapes in the corners of the room, as if an unseen entity is watching her. Fahad, too, senses that an unnatural force has taken hold of their space. They seek reassurance from each other, but both are equally anxious and uncertain. Strange whispers, flickering lights, and moving shadows reinforce the idea that they are not alone. Memories of Zainab's old friend, Rehan, suddenly surface in her mind, creating a link between her past and the present occurrences. She begins to suspect that these incidents may be connected to him, though admitting it aloud to Fahad is difficult. The tension grows, blending fear, anticipation, and unresolved emotions. Readers witness Zainab and Fahad struggling with both external threats and internal anxieties. The house, once a safe haven, transforms into a place of psychological suspense. Every shadow and sound is magnified, making even ordinary objects appear menacing. This stage heightens the story's suspense, mixing emotional conflict with supernatural fear. It deepens the character's emotional landscape, showing how past relationships and lingering memories can intertwine with the supernatural, creating a layered sense of horror. Suddenly, Zainab's mind flashes back to a memory she had tried to bury: Rehan, her ex-boyfriend, who had always been intensely obsessed with her. Despite her attempts to move on, she now feels that his presence is haunting the house. Every flicker of light and shadow seems to whisper his name, making her question whether these events are coincidental or deliberate. She senses that the strange occurrences, the moving shadows, sudden cold drafts, and fleeting noises, are tied to Rehan's unresolved emotions. Fahad notices her unease and listens as she reluctantly recounts her past connection with Rehan. Though shocked, he tries to stay calm, reassuring Zainab that they will face this together. The tension between past and present deepens. Zainab's hidden fear of her ex and the current mysterious events collide, creating a psychological maze. The story shows that fear is not only external but also internal, rooted in memories, regrets, and unresolved relationships. Zainab realizes that she must confront this intrusion to protect her current life and her bond with Fahad. The house, which had once been a place of comfort, now feels like a labyrinth filled with unseen dangers. Readers experience the complexity of Zainab's emotional turmoil, blending guilt, fear, and lingering affection into a suspenseful narrative. This part sets the stage for the confrontation with Rehan, highlighting how the past can manifest in frightening ways and directly affect the present. The suspense builds as the audience anticipates how the characters will confront this personal yet supernatural threat. One fateful night, Zainab and Fahad confront Rehan directly. He suddenly appears in the room, his presence chilling and heavy. The atmosphere turns tense, with shadows deepening and the air growing icy. Rehan speaks of his lingering obsession with Zainab, claiming he wants her back in his life. The intensity of his emotions and the strange, almost supernatural aura surrounding him terrify both Zainab and Fahad. Fahad, though afraid, stands firm, determined to protect Zainab and their life together. Rehan seems not only physically imposing but also possesses an eerie, unexplainable force that unsettles the environment further. Zainab feels fear, anger, and determination simultaneously. She knows that yielding to Rehan's demands could destroy the life she has built. The confrontation escalates. Voices echo, shadows twist unnaturally, and the house itself feels alive with Rehan's unresolved desire. The tension reaches its peak as Zainab and Fahad must rely on trust, love, and courage to face this threat. Every glance, word, and movement becomes critical, and readers are pulled into the scene, feeling the intensity of the characters' fear and determination. The supernatural element blends seamlessly with emotional conflict, creating a high-stakes environment where the outcome is uncertain. The climax is both psychological and terrifying, leaving the audience on edge, fully invested in whether the couple will survive this intrusion. Finally, Zainab and Fahad manage to reclaim control over their home and life. Rehan's true intentions become clear. He wants Zainab back, but his methods have become menacing and manipulative. Through their combined courage and mutual trust, Zainab and Fahad confront him successfully, forcing him to retreat. Yet, Even after Rehan leaves, a faint lingering shadow remains, suggesting that the past can never be entirely erased. Zainab and Fahad embrace, realizing that while fear and memories may return, their love and bond are stronger than any external threat. The couple reflects on the ordeal, understanding that emotional resilience and mutual trust can overcome even the most intense psychological and supernatural challenges. The story ends with a haunting yet satisfying resolution. Rehan is gone, but the faint echo of his presence lingers as a subtle reminder of the past. This ending balances horror, suspense, and emotional closure. Readers are left with a sense of relief but also a lingering unease, a hallmark of effective horror storytelling. Zainab's character growth is evident. She moves from fear and vulnerability to courage and decisiveness, supported by her loving relationship with Fahad. The conclusion emphasizes that love, trust, and facing one's past are essential to overcoming any darkness. The story's tone remains suspenseful even in resolution, leaving the audience both satisfied and slightly unsettled, a classic effect of psychological horror blended with drama.